Welcome to Planit Butter, my world, where I hopefully inspire you to build yours by being Intucentric, an immersive experience. Every episode is designed to provoke consciousness through entertaining perspectives and applied Intucentric philosophy, while recorded in a variety of intergalactic locations. As I embody my Intucentric way, you reflect on yours, and together we visit other worlds for occasional guest episodes and learn something cool. I'm Jordan Alexandra Blizzard Planet. This is From My Planet to Yours. Less of a podcast, more of a variety show, and a very funny approach to a documentary series. Thanks for joining me in Bali, Indonesia for episode 126, where we are going to explore the concept and perspective of time in relation to the individual's timeline as per, of course, being Intucentric. Let's start with appreciating time as the magic that it effectively is. Magic, as we define it on Planit Butter, is the possible that we can't comprehend. Much like time, yeah, guys? Time and magic are superior to all. There is no universe, there are no galaxies, there are no anything without this concept of time. So many humans talk about and characterize and personify and put figures to these concepts of a creator, of source, of God, of what have you. And what I love about time is that it's neutral. It's not affiliated with a religion, which is why it's the biggest thing with Planit Butter's way of being Intucentric. It's the individual's timeline. It's appreciation for that something that is so much larger than our humanness can fathom. All things, all planets, all galaxies, all, whatever all is bigger than we even know. So time is really that. Time is equal to God. Time is equal to magic. Time is superior. And we've made clocks and structured and things out of this concept of time, yeah? But as I talk about in the introduction, when I onboard you into the world of Planit Butter, in the introduction of the new book, Intucentric, I ground us in this sentiment of time effectively not being linear and being entirely immeasurable. Even with the science that society has created to identify and simplify time, still lacks the reflection of time's truth, because time is equivalent to magic, which is the possible we can't comprehend. And it's ruling everything. It's not a being, it's not a figure, it's not a personified something, it's not one thing. That's the beauty. It's neutral, it's all encompassing. Period. Like that's it. Neutrality and all encompassing. And that interconnectedness and essence of our existence is what informs and dictates our individual timeline, matched with our personal responsibility, which is being Intucentric. Being Intucentric is that balance between the ego and the intuition. Balancing our ego and intuition is understanding that, yes, we are human. Yes, I have the capacity to even say something like time is superior to all else. And I am connected to something so much larger than I can fathom. I am connected to the thing that I have the capacity to say. I am connected to something that I don't understand. That's being Intucentric. And it's the most empowering thing we can do, because we are humans. We do have just enough capacity to intellectualize the fact that there is something larger than us at play. Much larger, so much larger, and it's running everything. And the irony and beauty is that that thing that's running everything is also us. And I could cry just saying this for some reason, because it's so beautiful to know that we have this intellectual capacity and the capacity to do something about it, to take that responsibility, which Planit Butter defines as the willingness to do more, do less, and pivot what we can control. And what can we control? Ourselves. And how do we control ourselves when being Intucentric? We honor those three core concepts of the three core methods: boundaries, confidence, and alignment. When we self-reflect and self-connect, we clarify our boundaries, and then we respect those boundaries. When we respect those boundaries, we show up more confidently, which allows us to sustain or reconnect with our alignment. Alignment, Planit Butter defines as our role in the universe. We layer that with the next core concept of self-friendship, the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. When we are constantly committing to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, we are that much more equipped to recognizing our boundaries in any and every situation, and we are more willing to respect those boundaries, which fuels us again to showing up more confidently and sustaining or reconnecting with our alignment. Furthermore, as we navigate our boundaries through this self-reflection and self-connection with the strength of our self-friendship, we have that third concept, which I playfully call the Planit Butter Jet Ring of Consciousness. It's effectively a cycle for decision making, which helps us clarify what is or is not our intuition. Our intuition is our connection to the universe, to that thing that is so much larger than us, time. So the cycle for decision making is intuition, sensations, action, sensations, again. Intuition is a little something says something. A little something says something, yeah? Then you check your sensations in your body. How does that something make you feel? Excited? Not excited? Typically, if you're not excited, it probably isn't your intuition. However, because it's a cycle for decision making and it's a path and a process and a practice for identifying what is and is not your intuition, we're not always going to know if we're excited or not excited. It's not easy, but we can choose to make it fun, which means using that self-friendship to be really kind to ourselves and knowing ourselves enough to know what makes whatever context you're in and you're practicing this cycle, what makes that context more fun for you. And another way to do that is integrate Planit Butter's way of perspective dancing, which is playing with different perspectives to make them more optimistic and empowered so that you can more effectively clarify and respect your boundaries, be your own best friend, and clarify what your intuition is. Yeah? All of my concepts that I perpetually offer are interconnected and available for you to use at any point in time in any decision that you are making. And so intuition says a little something, your sensations say, this is how that makes me feel. Then you take action based on how it makes you feel. That action further reveals whether you are in alignment or not in alignment, because when you have that second sensations check, you'll either feel really great about whatever action you took, or you will not feel really great. And if you don't feel really great, it's probably not your intuition. However, sometimes respecting our boundaries and our intuition doesn't feel great, which is why we need to make it fun. So it's quite complicated. And that's why we perspective dance as well, to when things don't feel great, but they are aligned and they are in our best interest and they are part of our role in the universe. That's where we ground in, we are part of something so much larger, because I know I need to do this because it's in my own best interest and it's part of something larger. So even though it doesn't make me feel that great, but it's in my best interest, the trick becomes knowing that actually I do feel really great because I know it's in my best interest long term, right? So sometimes we have to do things that are respecting our boundaries but don't feel great because we have feelings, because we're humans and emotions are really complex. So we're just being honest about it. That said, the individual's timeline, time being superior, magic being a core component at all times, and the humbling of this interconnectedness to something so much larger than us, and knowing that we can take full control of ourselves to inform our individual timeline is just a beautiful thing. And these other two notes that I want to offer everybody is this concept of misalignment versus alignment, as well as manifesting versus mismanifesting. Mismanifesting is a new Blizzard's Blictionary term. I publish new words, new phrases, new concepts, one of the three, every other week on Planit Butter Substack, planetbutter.substack.com. It's a good time. So, misalignment versus alignment. We are always in one of those two forms of alignment. When we are Intucentric, when we are integrating all of those concepts, when we are taking responsibility for ourselves, when we are practicing balancing that with our intuition, we are more quickly recognizing when we are in misalignment and course correcting by clarifying those boundaries. Everything's going to fundamentally start with those boundaries. The other layers are, yes, in tandem, but for simplicity's sake, start with your boundaries. So, misalignment, alignment. Alignment is, as I said, our role in the universe. Misalignment is really not your role in the universe, but it's the path to get you to your role in the universe, I would say. And you'll recognize that you're in misalignment the more you practice being Intucentric, the more you practice clarifying and respecting your boundaries, because you'll know instantly when your boundaries are being crossed, and you'll say, oh, this is misalignment, or you'll feel like shit, or something will be going crazy and be off, or blah, blah, blah. And you'll say, oh, this is misalignment. So when we become more conscious about it, that's the being Intucentric. It's that consciousness, yeah? We're expanding our consciousness and doing something about it. So that's the misalignment versus alignment. We're always in one of the two, and being Intucentric helps us clarify which of the two we are in and where we want to be. Then we have manifesting and mismanifesting. And this one I've just really been wanting to share. So society, mainstream culture of whatever that means, has really driven home this concept of manifesting. And a lot of people have neglected to highlight that we are all always manifesting, no matter if we're conscious of it or not. So that's where this concept of mismanifesting came in. The same way we are always in alignment, it's either misalignment or alignment, either our role in the universe or not our role in the universe. Same thing for manifesting. You're manifesting consciously or you're manifesting unconsciously. And when we become more conscious about it, that's the mainstream one that everybody's talking about, where it's like, I'm just going to manifest my Planit Butter jet. Yeah. So it's like, well, that's true. Like, I am manifesting it full on. I'm also taking personal responsibility to allow for my timeline to propel me into that space where eventually we do receive the Planit Butter jet in its fullest form. I've already received the Planit Butter jet in a variety of different forms. It exists in my art. We've done Planit Butter jet episodes where I've filmed on a jet simulator, but it's like these tiny little ways where it shows up. And there's been even more than what I just said, but those are like the early stages of quote unquote manifesting. And then with mismanifesting, it's if you're not paying attention to what you're giving your time to, what you're investing your time in, what butterfly, what you're consuming, what you're sharing, what you're communicating, every single action, every single thought you take and have is a form of manifesting. So the mismanifesting is when perhaps you're receiving things that you don't want. It's like, that's a mismanifest because you did manifest that. You don't like it, but it's manifested by nature and default of how time works and magic. So again, time and magic, superior and ever present and all encompassing. So mismanifesting or manifesting, you choose. Misalignment or alignment, you choose. Being Intucentric is the choice to consciously participate, to take personal responsibility. I won't repeat everything else. We got this. So that's that. All that said, let's round this baby up with a Planit Butter Substack article sneak peek. The article will be out on May 4th, 2026. It is titled Magic and Work Went on a Date. You can subscribe on planitbutter.substack.com to read or listen to the full piece. I do audio articles of every single piece that I publish on the From My Planet to Yours articles. So you can read, you can listen, you can do both, whatever makes your heart sing. So here's the snippet. Magic and work went on a date. Shall we do a magic trick? I crossed paths with some friendlies on the way to the beach here in Bali. Side note, friendlies is another Blizzard's Blictionary term. Mid-chat, this dude reaches over and puts pressure on a very specific point in my left arm by my elbow. He said something about resolving whatever pressure has accumulated there, supposedly. I playfully retorted, shall we do a magic trick? He said, there is no magic, only hard work. And that's when my inner Planit Butter volcanoes excitedly erupted to say, who said there's no work in magic? And I carried on in my very passionate ways. I define magic as the possible that we can't comprehend. It's a magic trick. There's skill, there's technique, there's work, and it's magic. Don't be fooled. You can read or listen to the rest, again, on planitbutter.substack.com. I will leave you guys with that. We are always on time, whether we are in misalignment or alignment, whether we are manifesting or mismanifesting. When we are being Intucentric, we are always on time. We're just getting a little bit more involved. We're having a little bit more fun in this life, in our individual timeline. We are informing our time and magic on this earth, and we are doing it with appreciation for knowing with our whole hearts and physical bodies and beings and souls and everything else that we don't know anything about this magical thing that we're a part of, and yet what we do know is ourselves and how to dance with the unknowing. And the more we tune into ourselves, the more the unknown becomes exciting. It's a dance. It's a practice. It's never ending, even when we die, because we don't know what's out there. Get a little Intucentric about it. I'll see you Thursday. From my planet to yours.